Social commentary is hard to do well. You have to thoroughly investigate an issue and give voice to all the different aspects. Otherwise, it just comes off like a sermon. Someone in a position of authority preaching to you the right way to live. A truly masterful social commentary will take you through a scenario and have you more confused on the other side of it. Not because you didn't understand the story, but because it stirred up your perspective. It leaves you with questions that you may never be able to answer, but that will hopefully change the way you interact with the world around you. Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and try to release a new review every day from Monday to Friday. Today I'm going over Manifest West. It's co-written and co-directed by Joe Deitch and Louis Gibson. It stars Annette Mahendru, Michael Cudlitz, and Milo Gibson. It's a thought-provoking drama that follows the struggles of an American family. A slow burn that shines a light on those living off the grid and on the mental health crisis plaguing America. The build-up isn't very eventful, but the film does a great job of building a tense atmosphere that simmers until the finale when things finally boil over. With a strong cast and solid production quality, Manifest West comes packed with social commentary. The story follows the Hayes family as they move from the city to the top of a mountain in rural America. David Hayes, his two daughters Riley and Mary, and his wife Alicia. They moved out of the city because David lost his job and Alicia is struggling with her mental health. David tries to make things work, but soon Alicia's illness starts to return and things around the house look impossible. Will David be able to hold his family together? It's a tragic story that chronicles David's struggle, the way his daughters are affected, and how society treats mental illness. They don't spend a lot of time on the illness, but do take the time to show how the children, David, and the neighbors react to it. The lead up to the finale is a little slow and uneventful. It instead opts to really dive into the atmosphere and flesh out the characters. David and Riley are fantastic, with so much depth to them. David is a good but flawed man who feels cheated by the system, and in his efforts to be free of it, falls astray. Riley is a child of a broken home, always brushing pain and suffering aside, and trying to take on more than any child should have to. The film lacks conflict at first, focusing on the metaphorical struggle with illness. It's not quite enough to drive interest in the story, but the film is reborn when David starts to have run-ins with the law. The story is also a little too subtle. On the surface, this is a movie about David and the consequences of his actions, but the film gives enough little details to piece together the social commentary aspects. It just might be a little too subtle for the average audience. They could have spent more time with the wife and her illness. The film currently works in a high-level artistic sense, but I'm not sure people will appreciate the film talking about the illness in whispers and the way it parallels with how we as a society talk about it. The acting is phenomenal. Milo Gibson and Lexi Colker take on the lion's share of the screen time, and their portrayals of David and Riley Hayes were haunting. Milo Gibson plays David as a fairly average guy with a bit of pent-up anger that he misdirects at the system. His facial expressions are on point, and he understands his emotions well. The scene at the end where he shouts and expresses his anger was heartbreaking. Lexi Colker plays Riley Hayes as a normal child, a bit antisocial and a bit of a pushover, but still strives to feel normal. We see how her parents' situation affects her, and how she tries to keep a brave face. She is great with emotional work, especially during her speech at the end and during the scene with the social worker. Michael Cudlitz plays Eric the neighbor, and even though he doesn't get a lot of screen time, he plays a very memorable character. The way he tells stories, his respectful nature, and the way he's trying to help David even at the end of the film. He embodies the image of a guy just trying to do what's right, a decent and honest man. The production quality is fairly solid across the board. There are a few moments that sound like ADR, but they match the lips quite well, and it's barely noticeable. The camera is full of energy and movement, and the film tries out a lot of artistic and creative shots. The shots where the camera focuses on the children while the parents fight in the background, or with the tripwire in the forest, are especially creative and visually satisfying. The soundtrack is mostly boilerplate instrumentals, but the tracks are used effectively and never interfere with the dialogue. The music is never a focal point of the storytelling, but it's well done. Manifest West is a tragic story of mental illness and how it tears apart a family. It's got incredible acting, solid production quality, and a story filled to the brim with social commentary told through subtle means. It's not the most interesting film, but if you stick with it, you'll be left with powerful emotions and an even stronger message. 8 out of 10.